People, what is happening? It's your boy, Christian McBride, coming at you live from the bunker here in Montclair, New Jersey, on the Newport Jazz Festival Instagram page. I'd like to welcome you to, I would say the new year, but this feels more like December 57th, 2020. I don't want to get this new year started and bring Live Wax back by telling you all of the horrible things that are going on, because that would be too easy. You know, I like to keep it positive. I like to look forward to things. I like to look forward to the things that we can do. You know what I mean? So the great news is that we live another day. We have another chance to get it right. We have a chance to make life nice for someone else. You know what I mean? And we got music. Oh, we got music. We always got music. You know what I mean? And that can get us through anything, man. You know, have you guys seen Soul? I tell you, I saw Soul. Melissa and I watched it over the weekend, and it was just such an uplifting movie. I really, really love that movie. I urge all of you to go see that. Not because people we know have things to do with it. I mean, that always helps, but just the storyline is really, really beautiful. And one thing after watching, I don't want to give too much away, but there's a character in the movie named 22. And it was funny because I'm watching this movie thinking like, wow, we know a lot of 22s. It's a lot of 22s in the world, man. So let's do our best to make the 22s that we know, help them find their groove. Let's try to help make them happy. You know what I mean? Watching Soul made me think of Wayne Shorter, because y'all know how I feel about Wayne Shorter. It was one of the biggest thrills of my life to be able to speak with him right here on Live Wax. And Wayne Shorter is one of these kind of people, like his filter, the way he sees the world and the way it registers to his soul, that's a special thing. So I think I try my best to be that way, and I think that's what Soul was about. I think most of us should try to, it'd be a good thing to watch more movies that are actually for kids. I mean, I'm not sure that's really a kids movie. Yes, it was on Disney Plus, but that was it was supposedly a kid movie, but that's a grown-up movie. You know what I mean? So it would do us some good to watch a kids movie every now and then, or to sort of take that Wayne Shorter role of looking at the world, looking at life sort of like a comic book, or like this, we're superheroes. You know what I mean? The villains are out to get us, but we are superheroes. And so that's how I like to think of all of us. I like to think positive. But yeah, Newport Jazz Fest, Instagram, Live Wax, here we are. Will there be a festival this year? That's what everybody asks all the time. My answer, stay tuned. Stay tuned for more news. Yes, we are, our fingers are crossed. Our fingers are crossed, our toes are crossed, our legs are crossed, our arms are crossed. Everything is crossed, that we are going to bring something to you this summer. Because, like I said, music, that's the real vaccine there, baby. We can all use some tang, tang, to tang, tang, to tang. And some of this, doom, ba-doom, doom, doom, doom. That's all good. And you know what else we all could use? Some more Gregory Porter. Let me tell y'all a story about why I love Gregory Porter so much. I'm going to save some of this for when I bring him on, but y'all know he's an ex-football player, right? Gregory Porter played for San Diego State. And, Marshall Faulk went there. I'm a huge football fan. So, when I found out Gregory, we had that football thing, I was like, oh, I'm in love with this cat. And he is exactly as his voice would lead you to believe. He is a warm, giving, just a cool brother. And not to mention, he is a brilliant friggin' musician. One of my favorite cats in the world. And every time we play together, it's like a hit and run. A little gig here, a little song there. I'll sit in with your band on this tune for one song. You sit in with my band on this tune for one song. We never actually get a chance to get our teeth into something, but I'm hoping that will happen much sooner than later. So I believe he's on. So let me bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together from the 551, my man, Gregory Porter. Drum roll. He's coming. There he is.
Wow. All right.
What's up, my brother?
What's up, man?
Oh, it's great to see you, man.
that snuck up on me like boom. What?
Oh, hey, man. I'm just when I see you on my screen here, I just want to reach out and give you a hug. So here's one for you, bro.
Back at you, man. Christian gives like bear hugs for anybody out there who needs to know. He don't give no regular hug. It's a deep squeeze,
And you the same way, man. I'm so happy to see you, man. How's everybody? Victoria good?
Yeah, my wife is good. My son he keeps threatening to come in and out.
Oh, I'd love to see him.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him.
Yeah, everything is cool, man. I'm blessed. I'm on lockdown. I'm sequestered pretty good here.
Yeah.
It's
Good. Yeah, definitely. We need to put you in bubble wrap.
Right.
Protect you, brother. But you're in Bakersfield, correct?
I'm in Bakersfield, California. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I heard about Bakersfield was through the my dear friend, the bassist Taurus Mateen.
Yeah. Yep.
Who hipped me to Bakersfield, and I played a jazz festival there once. And but when we first met, you were in New York, correct?
Yep. I had already made my journey to New York.
Right. When did you move back home?
I moved about 5 years ago.
It's only been 5 years. Okay.
Yeah, it was. It was either buy a tiny place in New York or get you an acre in Bakersfield.
Hey, I ain't mad at you, bro. I am not mad at you. Oh, Gregory, I don't know if you know this, but I believe the first time we met, I know we did that thing up at remember we did that thing up at Riverside Church?
Absolutely.
And then we did, and then you were a guest on Soundcheck.
Right.
I'm trying to remember which came first.
I think the thing at the church, it was an interesting program. The MC was Bill Cosby.
Right. A long time ago.
A long time ago.
Life sure has changed since then.
Yeah, a lot has changed since then. Then my wife thought you were a drummer.
Well, she might have seen me tipsy at a jam session.
Say again, I'm sorry?
She may have seen me tipsy at a jam session.
You know what it is? She likes drummers, and she was like, "Oh, this guy has a great personality. He must be a drummer." So that's what it was.
So I hope she wasn't disappointed when I picked up the bass and she was like, "You mean he's not a drummer? Okay." But man, I want to tell you that you play a part in my career as a radio host now, because when we were doing Soundcheck, for those of you not in New York, on WNYC, there was a show that John Schaefer hosted for many years called Soundcheck. John went on vacation, and I was his sub for I think 3 or 4 days. And during the days I was subbing, you were one of my guests.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe that those few days that I sat in for John kind of helped get me my gig on NPR with Jazz Night in America.
Oh
And I'm
man.
telling you, man, I have never in my life, I don't get scared that easily, but they say you're going to be doing live radio in New York City, WNYC. I was like, yeah, okay, cool, right on, solid. And I had to read the news leads and stuff. I was like, today in Russia, I'm like, oh man, that was a trip. But you were such a hit on the show that week, man.
Oh,
I want to thank you for playing, many different roles in my career. You're such a great musician and an even more beautiful human being. So
oh,
thank you for just being
thank,
you, man.
thank you for saying that, man. It was a pleasure. Every time we get together musically,
Yeah,
and aside from that, it's always just a good feeling, and that's the thing that you bring to the radio airwaves and now to the internet, and I'm sure after this, in some time it'll be television as well. It's soulful, it's warm, it's educated. You're gonna learn something. You're gonna feel better about black folks. You're gonna, it's just a whole bunch going on, and it's just you. So it's dope, man. It's dope.
well, man, I'll tell you what. That's why we link up so well, man.
Yeah.
I feel the same exact way about you.
Mm.
I want to take you back and talk about how Gregory Porter became the staple in our world that he is today.
Wow.
You left a comment on an Instagram post I made several months back. I put up a video clip of Lou Rawls, and it was so hip because like you saw this clip, and I think you said, I used to think that he was my uncle.
Yeah. And, and that's how, that's how soulful and in a way ubiquitous
Right.
jazz was in culture and in our culture at the time. I feel
That's right.
that way when I was growing up, and and Lou Rawls had that persona.
Amen.
He's like, yeah, he's that cool uncle, he's got the best vinyl, he's got some good incense, he's got some liquor over there on the cabinet that you ain't supposed to touch, he got some bad suits and shoes,
Oh yeah, he probably got a pack of Pall Malls nearby.
Filthy King Cools, man. Filthy King Cools.
That's right, old school. Salem, Newport.
Newport. I got them Newports.
I got them Newports. You know it, baby. You know
it. Yeah, that's a different festival now.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But man, listen, because you remind me of that. It's like that same cool, that same smoothness that Lou had. People like Joe Williams, Billy Eckstine, Johnny Hartman. You got all that stuff, man. So like, take me back. When did that vocal spark start in you?
Well, just singing, just making an utterance was very early days, 5, 6 years old. My mother was a minister.
Yes.
We had a big family. There's 8 kids. And
wow.
So my mother was a minister, and she, Wednesday night service, Thursday night service, 3 services on Sunday. You had a lot of opportunities. You had a lot of opportunities to sing. And and I developed like a sound early on, like 5 years old. And so I became her like a little soloist and songster when I was very young, and singing in church. Jazz came about, always loved it. and I realized some of the things that I was doing in church, deviating from the melody after every time that you pass through the song, you know, playing with the rhythm, singing ahead of the beat and behind the beat, using all of the spectrum of harmony that exists, you know, for a particular melody line. All of this was happening in church. And when I started to hear jazz, I was like, oh, I didn't exactly separate it from gospel, because I was like, some things are happening. I know what's happening. I know what he's going to do. I know where it's going to go. And that was an early ear. I was like, wait a minute. I do that sometimes. And so I guess it was like, I had a kind of a funny entrance into jazz. There was a jazz choir at my high school. That's nothing like, it was nothing like jazz, really. You know.
Right.
But I heard the name and I immersed myself in it. Now, we had my mother's records. We had Nat King Cole. We had Ella Fitzgerald, Louis Armstrong. So it was really slow, very organic process of finding my way to jazz. And I have to say, and you know, this, I'm not being controversial here, the jazz community, the jazz world was not so easy to get to.
How dare you? We are the smartest, most flexible, most positive, most embracing people in the world. How dare you say that about the jazz community?
I remember, you know, I remember getting laughed at.
We like everything. Sorry.
You know, you know. But that's part of the journey. That's part of the journey. If you believe in yourself and you believe in what it is that you have to say, and you feel like that you have something that belongs there, it's what On My Way to Harlem is about.
Yes.
On My Way to Harlem doesn't start at 42nd Street. It starts from here in Bakersfield.
Yes.
I was on my way to Harlem, trying to find my way to where I belong.
Yeah.
And so when I say Ellington, he don't live around here. Langston Hughes, he don't live around here. This is, I'm trying to fit into that part of music life, that part of Black life, that part of culture. And it was hard for me to get there, but I'm glad I took the journey that I took, you know?
Oh, we are too, man. We are too. And I remember you told us some stories about when you first started going to jam sessions and things like that. Tell us what that was like when you started getting your foot into that world of the jazz world, when you started going to sessions and playing with cats.
Yeah, it was two things. It was terrifying because when I was going to jam sessions with great trumpeter Gilbert Castellanos.
Gilbert's, that's my man.
Right, in Sacramento. And you know who else was there? Clayton was on piano.
Oh, Gerald
Clayton was on piano.
Yep.
Sometimes Willie Jones, when he was in town, he would be playing. Yep. But it was, you know.
So you had all your California brothers there with you. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So it was killing dudes. But you know, I was trying to find the repertoire that was suitable for them. Sometimes I was singing straight from the vocal real book, which sometimes is a little bit different. And, you know, so I had to get some bebop charts under. So I started to check out Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross, Eddie Jefferson, King Pleasure.
Come on now.
So, you know, so when I came up and I, you know, when you see danger facing you, little boy, don't get. So when they were like, okay, now because before that, I was just a dude that wanted to sing all these ballads, and they were like, oh, man, get out of here with that. But
Oh, that's so
but
awesome, though, man.
but listen, they heard something in me. I was ignorant, I was insecure and untrained, but they heard something in my voice that needed to be heard. So Gilbert said, you know, you don't have it all, but you need to be heard. And he took me under his wing. Shortly after that, I met Hubert Laws. I
Yeah.
was already with my producer and my good friend Kamal Kenyatta, and they just start dumping knowledge on me. Brazilian music, the full, you know, I was already into Nat King Cole, but I didn't, you know, it was all coming at me at once. So people ask, like, what conservatory, what university did you go to? And I was like, it was 24/7.
Yeah.
I
That's
didn't
right.
go to an accredited one, but it was 24/7 of actually being so excited about music and
You
record.
went to community college,
Right,
college of the community. That's where you went.
right, right. And but there was a thing that happened.
Yeah.
I came to the jam session, and my brother and my friends from Bakersfield had come down, and they came to the jam session with me, and we did this like this gospel kind of quartet thing, black gospel quartet thing on
Mm.
stage. And they were like, everybody at the jam session was like, what the hell was that? And I was like, well, that's kind of the thing that I've really been steeped in. And they were
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
you. We finally heard you.
Finally
And
heard
so
you.
and
Yeah.
so it was this interesting epiphany that hit me of joining in, you know, instead of trying to be Eddie Jefferson, King
Right.
Pleasure,
Right.
Nat King Cole, instead of trying to be them,
Yeah.
meld the jazz life with my gospel life, which are cousins
Mm-hmm.
that grew up in the same house
That's right.
and ate out of the same pot of greens.
Come on, man. That's right. That's
You
right.
know, let let those things come together, and then that's when I developed my voice. That's where I found my voice.
You know, man, I had right before the holidays, I had Lettucey as my guest here,
Yeah.
and we were talking about that whole church connection.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to ask you, it seemed to me at one time, um, the church really, like the church obviously was just like a breeding ground for all of these great singers. Um, Up until the point like where like so many great jazz and R&B singers came straight out of the church. So it was like church was really influencing popular music. I almost feel like it's the other way around now. Like
Yep.
popular music is now influencing the church. So do you find that, I mean, do you think that we will see another Aretha Franklin, another Gladys Knight, somebody that kind of starts in the church with those original old school sort of church values
Yeah.
and come into the secular world and blow it up? I mean, like, can that still happen these days?
It can still happen. I used to say years ago in a lot of interviews, like the DNA is still there. The
Right.
energy is still there. I'm not bigging up myself, but I came up in that type of old school
Yeah.
holiness, Church of God in Christ,
Yeah.
uh, slightly dirt floor kind of a church, you know,
Right. Right.
and so I immediately connected with those a type of singers that had some experience in the church. So I do think the DNA still exists, uh,
Hmm.
and sometimes the brilliance that comes out of the church is, you know, sometimes surpasses the
Right.
musicianship that happens on the jazz stage. So, you know, I mean, it's still some extraordinary stuff coming out of the church,
Yeah.
but sometimes I think popularity, record sales, all of that stuff is influencing. I said the very same thing that you said, that that the church, sometimes now you can make an original utterance that comes right out of the church, and people will misidentify it. They'll say, "Oh, that ain't nothing but pop." I was like,
Right.
"No, you got it
No.
confused.
Right.
That's straight up from the second pew
Right.
at Brother Johnson's, greater evangelical
Come on now.
lily of the valley." But they're like,
That's it.
I'm like,
Come on now, break it down.
I'm like, y'all haven't heard the original.
Put some Ezekiel saw the wheel on them.
So I'm saying they haven't heard an original gospel utterance in so long that they think, and gospel music has influenced so many other musics that when they hear it, they won't recognize it. I wrote a song about that, but that's another story. Want to hear it? Here it go.
Man, don't you tease us, because everybody want to hear you sing a little lick. But I do want to bring you up to the present and congratulate you on All Rise. An amazing piece of work, my man.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
How long did it take you to put that together?
Well, the writing process for me is I snatch it when it happens. I think it happens on the plane on my way to the from Paris, flying in to catch my date at the Newport Jazz Festival. I mean, it's I don't actually sit down to write. I capture it when the inspiration comes, and that comes when I'm thinking of something and I'm feeling it. I mean, take some of the songs from the record. Concord is about my, with 1,000,000 miles of odometry. I've traveled.
Yeah.
I'm traveling all over the world, 250 shows a year. The most precious flight for me, and how I want the plane to move as fastest, is when I'm going home.
Yeah. Right.
To hug my son and to be with my wife, and to that's the most precious flight. I love my flight to the Newport Jazz Festival. I love going to to Vienna, and I love Montreux.
Right.
But the dopest time is flying and landing.
Oh yeah.
So that's something that inspires my writing. The current political situation where you can't find truth, that inspired the song Real Truth. So I'm drawing from everything, the fruit from a tree that's right in front of me, and that I'm passionate about. And that's what I'm writing about. So yes, the orchestrations and putting the band together and figure out how we're going to do this. Yes, it takes some months, but we took 2 weeks in Paris. We took a week in LA. This is a longer recording process than I'm used.
Right. Yeah, that's why I was asking. I saw that you recorded in a few different places.
Yeah, it's and we recorded at Capitol Studios, and then at a small studio in Saint-Germain that we made our kind of home studio, and we did the strings at Abbey Road in London. So when I look at when I look at the stuff on paper, I'm like, dang, we did some traveling.
Yeah,
record, But
man, it's a beautiful project, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. And I'm not trying to. The utterances that are on the record that sound pop are coming right out of my church experience.
Of course.
I'm not trying to change my stripes. I'm a jazz singer that uses all of the I call them the cousins of jazz to tell my story, and gospel, blues, and soul music. And somebody called me an R&B singer one time and thought they were disrespecting me. And I was like, you got it wrong, kid. You gave me a compliment.
Right,
Call
right,
me a
right, right.
blues singer. Call me nothing but a gospel singer. You've given me the highest compliment. And
You got
so,
all that, man.
right. I mean, these are the
We're all of
highest
that.
compliments. I don't look down at that music at all. So yeah.
Yes, indeed. That's right. Man, I was going to say the first time I saw my bass hero, Ray Brown, the first time I saw him play live, I saw him play the Blue Note. And I was fortunate enough to have a seat like right right in front of the stage. It was like, his bass was maybe 8 feet away from my head. And man, that kind of pulse and that groove that was coming out of that bass, they're playing straight ahead jazz, right? They swinging hard, but the pulse, the propulsion of it all, it felt like soul music to me. You know, it felt like I was listening to like Fred Wesley and the JBs, and they're playing like Satin Doll or something like that, whatever it was. And like my
Yeah.
body was just moving, like, man, listen to that groove, man. So pocket is pocket, soul is soul, wherever it comes from. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm glad that your gospel roots are so strong. I mean, you couldn't let those go even if you tried.
No, right, exactly,
you know,
and nor should I,
Nor should you. Exactly.
because there's another thing that's happening. We have to, for jazz, for the life of jazz. Yes, there's the people that stay home and that work the repertoire and are faithful to that, and that's important, and I'm
Right.
there too, but we have to widen this umbrella, and we have to bring, how shall I say it, poetically, we have to bring folks back home and let them hear something that they recognize
That's right.
in
That's right.
order to reintroduce them to Charlie Parker. You understand
Yep.
what I'm saying?
From
Gotta
the root
bring
to the fruit.
right,
Always got to
right.
take them to the root. I'm all about the root. I play bass, so I'm all about the root.
But listen, you said that about Ray Brown. How lucky are we? And you got tons of pictures with with the masters and the founders of the music. How lucky are we that we get at festivals and at different functions and at gigs, that we get to sit with the masters of the music and have them drop something on us.
That's what it's all about, man.
Now listen to me. Listen to this. I couldn't catch and sing a 2-minute song at a jam session somewhere in a 40,000 city town. But somehow you leapfrog them and you meet Hubert Laws, Herbie
Right.
Hancock, Wayne Shorter.
Right.
And they're beyond the ego of a jam session.
Yeah.
And they let you know what you have. And they give you a compliment about what you do have. Listen, young man, you keep going where you're going. That's the encouragement.
And they'll pull you aside and tell you some very specific things that you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so invaluable, man.
Yeah, Junior Mance pulled me aside. Just like you
Rest in
said.
peace. We just lost him less than a week ago.
Yeah, he pulled me
Yeah.
aside and just dropped knowledge on me for no reason, and it was awesome. So yeah, we're lucky.
Yes, we are, brother. Speaking, I want to give you my deepest condolences on the loss of your brother Lloyd. Lloyd was one of the many people who we lost to this COVID pandemic, and I know that COVID itself, the pandemic itself, really changed. You couldn't go out and do any gigs behind All Rise.
Yeah.
But then Lloyd passing away in the middle of all this. I mean,
yeah.
How you doing with that, man?
It changed everything for me. It changed, he was there for so much inspiration. He's just a year older than me, and my closest partner. We did everything together from the beginning, and we shared everything. And At the point at which he saw my talent, I have a song on All Rise called "Thank You," and there's a line: "A rough cut stone I couldn't polish myself. It had to be done by someone else." And so it was my brother who sharpened me and supported me and helped me, get to where I am. And so losing him was really an extraordinary thing. It's probably why I'm locking down so hard. And the funny thing is I didn't realize how much he was in my music and how much he was really in my career. It was his idea to start making videos. I was like, I'm a jazz dude, and he we don't make videos, right?
You're right.
He was like, listen, I know the filmmaker down the road. I know this photographer. We're going to get everybody together. We're going to make you a video. So for my first record, he's the one who had the plan to go to Detroit and film the 1960 What
Wow
video in the ruins of some of the buildings in Detroit.
Right.
Just thinking for me and helping me. And so to lose him to this awful situation, and then to have, some politicians say, don't let
we should keep living life.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. My brother was a fighter. You talking about a fighter? You talking about fighting for me, physically fighting for me my whole life. And he lost his battle to this virus. But it's you know what I was going to say. From the energy that's been expressed throughout the country, the unrest, the pain that has come from this virus, I'm actually both excited and both scared of the inspiration that it brings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because there'll be great depth of sorrow, and there will be, great beauty that comes from it as well.
Big time. Yeah.
And I think as jazz artists that we have to go there emotionally, fearlessly. Hold on to the roots of where the music is, but actually dive into what's happening right now. We've got to do it. I mean, if we listen to Miles Davis, he did it. If we listen to Charles Price, there are artists of their time. John Coltrane was an artist of his time. And so we have to hold on to the roots of it, but delve into the energy of what is happening right now. Somebody has got to say something about what's right.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That's what I was saying, when we first started, let's talk about the positive. Let's talk about some music. There's some beauty in the middle of all of this. Let's go in there and pull it out. You know what I mean? Let's go in there and pull it out.
We're going to find it.
That's right. We're going to find it, man.
But haven't you had the most beautiful conversations with musicians during this time?
Absolutely.
It's like people are stripping down this some of this air and this ego. And I've had these just great conversations with people who are now, we don't know how long this thing is going to last,
Yeah,
and so
that's
now
right.
they're telling you that they love you,
That's right.
And I'm doing the same thing, It's like it's really a deep time.
That's why it's such a pleasure to speak with you this evening, man. I've always dug you a lot. You just like I said, you are who your voice, people would think you would be. You know what I mean? You're just a warm, beautiful cat, man. And I love that you're so family oriented. You've always been very dedicated to your family, and I've always deeply admired that, man.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, please.
No, I was gonna say I have to thank. I was on a tour. I have to thank jazz for my family. I was on a tour in Russia at Igor Boutman's club in Moscow.
Yeah.
That's where I met my wife.
No kidding.
That's where I met my wife, and so, obviously we have a son now, and he's not supposed to be anybody else but who he is. you know, but Gregory Porter and half Russian. You understand what I'm saying? You know, it's
I love it. I love it.
yeah.
Russian soul. Come on,
Right.
baby. I love it, man. Hey, tell me about you came to Newport, was it 2018 you played there?
Yeah, I think that's right.
My brain's all messed up. That wasn't your first time at the festival, was it?
No, it wasn't my first time. This is the time when you. I feel like you're always kind of running the show, but yeah, you were. But you were definitely backstage. Um, just a side note about we were talking about my brother.
Yeah,
Newport was the place where we would really hang
yeah,
because he would come and he would rent a house, and that was a place where we could really hang backstage, eat some food,
sure.
and really, really hang. So the best pictures I have are backstage, and he's dressed in his linen and in
Yeah.
his hat. Those are the best pictures I have with him at
Oh,
Newport. Yeah. So, but I'm sorry, I got off track. I'm sorry.
no, no, no. Actually, in fact, Lloyd, when we were in St. Lucia, Lloyd wasn't with you down there, was he?
No, he wasn't in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Mhm.
You have a picture. I've been meaning to. I got to remind you to send it to me. Somebody took a picture of us in your dressing room, and you were tackling me
Right,
because we were talking about football.
right, right.
But I think it was you and your road manager, maybe, or maybe it was
Okay,
one of your other brothers, maybe. I don't know.
okay, I gotta
But
check it out.
but both of y'all ganged up on me. He was like, "Come on, let's tackle him."
Yeah,
And I'm
that's
standing in the
probably
middle of
Lloyd.
y'all like, "Yeah, it was Lloyd, right?" That's what I thought. Yeah, man, we
Yeah,
got to find that photo, man. I'm dying to see that photo.
absolutely, man, absolutely.
Cause,
Yeah.
cause you were like, so what position did you play? I was like tight end. He was like, oh, so I would have been tackling you. He was like, come on, let's tackle him now. And I was like, no, I'm just playing. We got to find that photo, man.
Yeah, but you said something to me. You said something to me. For some reason, I thought you were like eons older than me because of all of the
Cause it
experience.
is.
No, listen,
No.
because of all of the wisdom that you have, right? I don't know why I was like, what, you like 8 months older than me or something like that, right?
That's right. That's right.
Right. Probably because you started when you were like, you've been famous since you were like 16, right?
Yeah, right. Right.
so, so, I was coming off stage, and here I am thinking I'm bumping into an old master. So Christian stops me. He grabs me on my shoulder and he says, "What you have and what you do is so necessary in the
Yeah.
music, and I want to thank you for that." And you said that, and I was like,
Hey.
it's just you grab these gems that fill up your tank, and that just fills up my tank because you've been there and you've
Yeah.
done that and and so sometimes you're going and it's like, am I on the right track? Am I doing the right thing? And so I appreciate that. So yeah.
Oh man, big time, man. Look, first of all, anytime I see a brother out here singing, I mean, because I feel like if there's one thing our jazz community I felt has been low on the fuel, has been in male singers. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so we got a lot of great ladies out there just killing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like where the dudes at?
Right.
You know? And
Yeah,
so when
I
you
hear you,
came
man.
along, I was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
you and Jose James, all these guys, I was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It's been a
Tell
blessing.
me tell me about your well you said you and Lloyd would really hang at Newport, but I always love to hear what artists what their experiences like in Newport. Like what could they tell someone about the Newport Jazz Festival that haven't had a chance to go?
Um, it is uh, you know, it's been there and been happening for so long there, if you, all you got to do is just watch people,
Yeah.
and they hang so hard. Your first year, you need to go to observe, okay? Because you need to see how people do, and they just do it so right. It's like many festivals around the world, but particularly Newport is set in such a beautiful setting, and you become this village of music, and there's a kind of a the audience is egging on the performer. It's not a situation where like, show us what you're going to do.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
pushing the performer to be even better than what they are.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And from the food to the drink to the conversation that you have with uh, the people that come to the festival, it's really extraordinary. My CD line was so long.
Yeah. I bet.
And the conversations that happens, the hugs.
Yeah.
I really miss that, man. I miss that part of the music. I miss that connected and the closeness that happens at the Newport Festival.
Yeah.
Because you walk to a, you can separate yourself if you want, stay backstage. But what's the dopest thing is when you break that wall and you go out and watch somebody else's gig, and you associate with the people. It's really, it's special, and it's such a beautiful setting.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's a special place. I mean, I mentioned Montreux and Vienne, and
Right. Right.
there are wonderful, the
Umbria is another one.
yeah, I was going to say, I was
Yeah.
going to mention several other festivals, but it really,
Yeah.
you can pick one. But
Yeah.
the idea of creating this musical village, and there's one thing that I feel like that I add to in jazz, and that's love. So there's a feeling of love at the Newport Jazz Festival. And it's not a vibe, it's not a separate vibe. It's a vibe of like, yes, we came here for love, for feel good, for music, for culture, for beauty. And it's a regenerative thing, this festival.
Well, you first of all, you you coming back. If as long as I'm artistic director, you gonna be back a whole lot in your career, brother. You can rest assured of that.
I hope so, man. I hope to be worthy of these.
Oh, come on now. You wake up in the morning and you worthy. Before we sign off, I want to take a couple of questions. We got some good questions from the gallery here. Let's see. We got a question from, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this. Abundiz 93. Sorry if I jacked that up. What was the inspiration behind Phoenix?
The idea of love, it's really the same thing behind No Love Dying, the same thing behind many of the songs that I write that are about irrepressible love. I wrote a song called Insanity that's about coming out of the darkness that love can fall into and rising to its proper place. Love is just like a phoenix. It can rise, it can glow, it can shine. If it's given what it's needed, and it's about my optimism. It's really about my optimism, and you can make it about romantic love, and it is about romantic love, but it's also about brotherly love. It's also about love of community. I'm speaking of that as well. My songs, oftentimes when I speak of love, there's dual meanings. Yeah,
that's beautiful. Okay, we got another question from. Let me see. I saw a good one. It just, oh, here it is. We Dave 200 asks, what's your favorite jazz album of all time? You're on the spot now.
Yeah, no, that's a Nat King Cole, after midnight session.
Woo!
Yeah, that's so cold blooded. I mean, he's like it's like he's went back to the club, you know?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
And you know, that one's just so soulful to me. You know, there's a lot of talk about Nat King Cole and sometimes separating him from somehow jazz culture because he was a popular singer.
Right,
But
right.
that put him back in his place, his rightful place as a master of both popular music, jazz, even soul for me.
Man, listen, I talked to some older cats and they say, you know, had Nat King Cole never opened his mouth, he was such a great piano player. He probably could have been one of the great bebop piano players of all time. The man had
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah,
You know?
speaking to Oscar Peterson's family, I spoke to his wife and his daughter.
Yeah,
They talked about how much their father would speak about Nat King Cole.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I think we got time for one more. Because IG Live don't play. They're going to cut this thing off at 8 o'clock. Post genre media, how you doing? He asked, who would you like to interview for The Hang but have not yet? You got a great series of your own. That's wonderful. Kudos to you on that.
Oh, thank you
So,
so much.
who would you like to interview for The Hang but have not yet?
You know, I have not yet. You know, there's so many masters, and I know you'll attest to this. Sometimes the inspiration for jazz can come outside of jazz, and so film and art and there's a whole bunch of people that I would love to talk to that inspire my music. But
Yeah.
just on a straight up jazz tip, I want to sit down with Herbie Hancock and just have
Ooh.
a conversation about you know, the thing we talked about earlier, music of the time. And I'd love to just like pick his brain about what were you thinking, what were you feeling at this particular time in history? Because he's like you. He was famous when he was 16, like you know.
Cut that out.
You know, he's looked the same since he was 16, right?
Now that's the truth.
So
Man.
I was just like, how does time and place connect to the music? How does time and place connect to the music? And you know, because that's important to me when I listen to a record. What was going on during that time that would affect the sound,
right?
the uprightness, the relaxed nature. You know what happens. This is why the music of the late 60s is so extraordinary to me, because how beautiful it is so amazing. How beautiful it is in the environment in which it was created. God,
that's right.
please.
Yep.
We miss that. You
found beauty in that.
You miss the point of that. You think we're going through some difficult times, and we are. They was catching hell in the
hey
in
man,
the 60s,
listen.
right?
Come on, man.
So I'm talking about the entire country. I'm not talking about just the specificity of Black people.
Right.
This is global, right?
Everybody, yes.
So my point is, how could they be so beautiful in such a time? We can do the same. We can do the same. There's more than music that we can learn. This, you know, it's so deep, man. It's so deep.
Brother Porter, I wish I was with you, right next to you, man, sipping on a little something with you, man. What you got tonight? Come on now.
I'm relaxing.
What you got tonight?
I got the fire in the background, you know. So I'm chilling next to the fire with a little.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm listening to who I got. This is Millie Jackson. I'm listening to Millie Jackson. Yeah, I said Millie Jackson. But right after that, I got Hubert Law's Morning Star.
Wait a minute. I love you more than I ever did, knowing that you listen to Millie Jackson. What jazz musicians know about Millie Jackson, man? Come on, dude.
Listen, do
you know her daughter Keisha?
I know Millie. I swam in Millie Jackson's pool.
That's another chat. We'll talk about that one. We'll talk about that one later.
I did her radio show. I sure did.
Oh man, she is awesome. I met her many years ago she did the North Sea Jazz Festival like 25 years ago, and I remember like Millie Jackson's here.
No,
listen, I got to talk to her.
No, listen. She has a jazz record collection that she broadcasts from her basement. She plays jazz records. I came and sang on her radio show. I sure did. I mean, it's been some years ago, but yeah.
Now, see, you are the man. See, I'm gonna have to mess around and get Millie Jackson at Newport. Wouldn't that be see?
Woo! You really turn them out, then. Whoa. Whoa. Hey,
Lord.
Hey, they thought Little Kim was the first one. No.
Come on now. Come on now. They don't know nothing. My favorite Millie Jackson album is so deep I can't even call the name of the record. It's that deep. I can't even describe the front of the cover.
No.
Oh, but man, Gregory Porter, I love you very much, my man.
Yeah, I love you back.
I thank you for being my guest this evening, and all of us had a ball just listening to you and feeling you.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you. Love to your family. Love to your wife. Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Right back at you, and we will talk again soon. And folks, I will see you here again on the Newport Jazz Festival IG Live next Tuesday, where my guest will be, I don't know yet. Just tune in to find out. Until then, peace. Hey, I love you, Greg. We'll talk soon.
Okay, bro. Thank you.
All right, brother. Peace.
Right.